It's time for To The Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, and welcome to The Max Sports. Y'all know what time it is. It is time for
sports.
It's unbridled Cowboys optimism time.
It's the early morning edition.
Happy AM, yes. Friday morning.
I got my product placement in case the McDonald's exec is watching and wants to sponsor the show.
There we go. We also have the placement of when you're in doubt about something, just refer to. Of course, I'm right. I'm Bob.
The only thing we don't have in place is a Dallas place kicker.
Oh, I see what he did there.
Oh my God. Are you going to be one of those Cowboys homers that wants to focus on the one bad thing in that game and not focus on the fact that Dak Prescott no longer has the yips?
I could give a rat's ass about that game, but here's the entire time I'm watching this game, I'm just thinking, wouldn't this shit be funny if the Cowboys lose because he missed three?
No,
that had to have been on the back of everybody's mind.
You knew going into the, I think it was by the third score. You knew going into that after they scored the third time, there was no way Tom Brady and that team are going to come back. Yeah. Tom Brady has one weapon downfield, and he has one sort of weapon in the backfield. But Tom Brady threw for 66 pass attempts in that game, and he's 45.
Did you see the still photo, the shots of the pictures they had? They had 8 different offensive plays before the ball was snapped. And look at Tom Brady's eyes. He's looking for 11. He was shook. He was shaken. When they say to pressure him up the middle, that's exactly what they did. And Tom Brady was looking for Micah Parsons the whole game. And he can tell he was dominated. When Tampa Bay scored their touchdown and missed their 2 points, I said, yeah, those things are going to come back to haunt us. But
even the Cowboys couldn't mess it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that interception that Brady threw into the end zone, that was like, you trying to throw it away? Because you're kind of missing you're throwing 5 yards short to do that.
And that was one of the shots, Bob, absolutely. And guess what? Who was in front of him?
Micah Parsons?
That's why he was doing it.
Well, it's funny because the last pod, what did I say? Micah Parsons follows him to the restroom that game. Yeah. I mean, just stay on top.
You called it.
But Drew, you play golf.
I did.
What I think a little bit about what was happening with Mar is you're on the first tee and people are watching you and you shank it into the tennis courts. And then you're on the second tee and you shank it again into the left. And then you're on the third tee, you're like, oh, I'm not going to go left. I'm not going to go left. I'm not going to go left. And then you go right. And you're on the fourth tee, you're going, oh my God, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm just going to cater up there and pray. And he did. And then he hit the upright. He didn't hit the upright. He hit pole.
I'll tell you what, Bill Maher could have kicked better than Brett Maher that game.
I heard really good speculation with Jerry. I mean, now that Tom Brady is sort of out of the playoffs, do you sign Tom Brady to place kick?
You know what? Honestly, I think he could have made at least 2.
But I will, going back to your golf analogy, having played golf and having had what we in Golfland call the shanks, it's a terrifying feeling, especially when you're playing for money, which I was playing for in golf with the likes of Eddie and Jeff and them. And, man, you just can't, you're freaking out because you just cannot hit the golf ball. It just skittles off. I've had to walk off the course 3 times with the shanks. I just couldn't hit it. It's horrifying.
And I was saying going into the Tampa Bay game that Dak Prescott, my evaluation of Dak Prescott being a totally unqualified person to make an evaluation of an NFL quarterback, Dak had the yips. And I think they had some sort of witchcraft. They had a witch come into the locker room and said, we're going to take away the yips from Dak and give it to the place kicker.
They sacrificed the rooster and it worked because Dak played one of his best games. He looked good.
Dak looked good. And Dak looked good on his feet. That was the impressive. That one play where he ran to the outside and bootleg. That was perfect. That was If you were a Tampa Bay fan, which there aren't very many people that are, because that stadium was about 60% Cowboys fans, you were just that just ripped your heart out.
Well, Bob, you went 4-2 to start our playoff adventures. I was.
Did I? I thought I went 3-3.
No, you went 4-2. I went 3-3.
Okay.
What did I?
We would have tied, but I took San Diego. Or what do I say that?
LA Chargers.
LA Chargers, and they proceeded to just
Wow.
Can you imagine if you had money on that game? Imagine having money. You're taking.
Oh, you're celebrating at halftime.
Chargers are minus 2.5. You've got a 27-0 lead. You're like, I can't lose this.
You're ordering the Dom from the bar.
Yeah.
And then Staley comes out, and I don't know what was going on in their play calling, but they were snapping the ball with 20 or 21 seconds left on the play clock. They only called 7 run plays. They had one other run play, which was a busted play. When you're up 27-0, your opponent isn't on the other side of the field. Your opponent is the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
with some heads rolled, a lot of OCs and DCs have lost their job.
but
Minnesota's
and the head coach for the Chargers keeps his job. He sacrificed people. It's like a Mayan ritual there too.
Even Tampa Bay cleaned house. And Minnesota, their offensive coordinator, our defensive coordinator, he's gone.
Well, yeah, you let the Vikings beat you.
This got me thinking about something. I said last week, let the Sean Payton sweepstakes begin. But think about this. I think he may sit this out and wait for the perfect fit. I don't think there's a team there that he can step into and say, you know what, I can.
Really?
I mean, name one team you think he can turn around. First of all, you need a quarterback.
Okay.
And other teams are available. I don't see.
Okay. I got you. I got 2 places for Sean Payton.
Okay.
Earlier in the week, when I saw the OC get fired for the Chargers, I thought what might be happening was they're clearing the decks of the assistants, and then they're going to fire Staley, and then they're going to bring in Sean Payton. Because I don't think the Chargers are a bad team for him to go to, because Sean Payton is a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
But then
that would be a fit. But I'm talking about current teams that have NFL openings for head coaches.
Texans.
No way.
Why not? Because I have my reasons.
I was listening to another show, and one of the things that coaches want in an organization is stability. And that organization makes a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad trades. It seems a little disorganized to me. They have a meddlesome GM. And who wants to go to a place where it's just constant rotation? They've given their coach, they've been fired. They've had one and done seasons, the last 2 seasons. There's just and they don't have a quarterback. Peyton's going to go where he has a quarterback.
Ego. He goes to the Texans, and he's like, and then what the Texans have is a crap ton of draft capital.
There you go. That's the key.
Because the other thing that not everyone's missing out on this, but the Saints are going to get something from this too, because the Saints still have his contractual rights. So they're going to want some draft picks themselves. So any team he goes to has to be able to do that. The Texans have draft capital. Sean Payton can go in and mold that team the way he wants. Yeah, the GM probably needs to go, but I think if there's a situation where he can mold it from the ground up the way he wants without any baggage, it's the Texans.
But I'm not sure a coach of his stature wants to get into a long-term rebuild. Now your San Diego thing, that actually
Can I ask
makes
a question,
sense.
though? One of the things that Sean Payton did last week, he pretty much did the cardinal sin where he was talking about positions as far as head coaches and where he would fit. And he commented on that. That's a no-no. You don't do that. I started looking into him a little bit and I wanted to know a couple of things. Number one, what is it going to take to sign this guy? Okay. And then I started researching his wins, losses percentage. Drew Brees made him. Sean Payton is an underachieving coach. When you really look at the numbers, peel back that onion a little bit. And when you look at it, here, just is my opinion, but when you look at it, he went to the NFC champ, or he's won his division 7 times, went NFC champion twice, won Super Bowl, right, that he's won. When you look at everything, the controversy he had because of the defensive coordinator and all that, and he had to step out and suspended for a year. When you really look at it, is there a team that's going to take a chance on him? It's like, look, what are we doing here? So same question that I have. Mike McCarthy was supposed to be fired because he's taken the team to the playoffs twice. And if he wins this game, they still are doubting him as a head coach, Mike McCarthy. Sean Payton has been put on this pedestal, but let's really evaluate that piece of Sean Payton where I don't know if he's that good of a coach.
Well, I don't think you fire Jerry Jones or not. Yeah, fire Jerry Jones. Fire Mike McCarthy if he loses against the 49ers. I think the better reason to fire Mike McCarthy was that dance with the fracking chain around his neck. Have you seen video of this?
Yeah.
It is the most visually unpleasing thing I have seen in a while.
I think honestly, Dan Quinn is going to get a job before Sean Payton because this guy can run. He can run a defense. He's proven that.
Yeah, he's really turned Dallas around. But to your point, and that actually is an excellent point. And Bob, let me ask you this: would we be if Sean Payton coached New Orleans and David Mills had been his quarterback all those years, would we be singing the praises of Sean Payton?
No.
But you're asking him to come into Houston and turn David Mills.
But remember,
into
Houston's going to get the number one quarterback out there because Chicago's going to trade down.
That's the thing. It's all that draft capital.
Yep.
It's building an organization. It's building a roster.
Well, Houston,
that he will build the roster.
Houston effed around and lost their first round draft pick.
Well, they still get the quarterback.
Their second pick.
Yeah.
But I don't see a lot of
The
quarterback.
Chicago Bears will trade away that pick.
They are going to
beans.
Chicago's
I'll
going to
tell you
trade.
what, I don't see a lot of quarterback draft capital in this year's draft.
I just see maybe three.
I'm talking about coming in and turning a team around like a
Like a Lawrence.
Yeah. Or there's no quarterback that's better than the ones like a Lawrence.
But David Mills in Houston, though, I think the kid out of Alabama or even the kid out of Ohio State they can give him a little bit of competition. David Mills is a good quarterback, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback.
And as to quarterbacks, I've started to have the theory that if you were a quarterback for a team that made the CFP, you're not going to make it in the NFL.
Well, what if Texans pick up David Carr, or what's his name?
Derek Carr,
and
that would probably make more sense.
let him pick up, draft a quarterback for 1 year. What's that kid that or they wanted Houston Texans wanted that guy? I forget his name. And make him the head coach, but because they didn't interview someone following the Rooney Rule, they had bring in Lovie Smith. I forget the guy's name. But if he comes in as a Houston's coach, let him wait a year, see what he can do. If he doesn't do it, then do those draft picks that New Orleans has to have. Yeah. Do they go away? That's what I would do if I were Houston.
Yeah, we'll see.
Houston destroyed one Carr's career. Why not end another one's?
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's.
Well, Baltimore. Let's talk about they fired the guy that probably could do the best with Lamar that anybody could, and they cut him loose.
Well, he was only doing something with Lamar. Look at that team's record without Lamar on the field. It was
what do
abysmal.
you do with Lamar? He is not your. Do you put the franchise tag on him?
You tag and trade.
Yeah.
You tag and trade. You can't release him outright because you can't.
Right.
So you tag and trade him, but he's not going to be playing in a Ravens uniform next year.
You could give first round draft picks if you do.
I want to write that down. Bob.
He is not a Raven next year. Just because of everything around that. And I understand not wanting to, pierce someone's privacy and all that, but Lamar's the one that talked about his injury. The Ravens really haven't said anything publicly about this guy's injuries. I think they're just frustrated. Yeah. And Lamar Jackson.
They held a press conference and sang his praises, said all the right things, but at the end of the day, negotiations are negotiations. He doesn't have an agent.
Well, he has an agent. It's his mom.
Well,
That's why he doesn't have a contract. I mean, no offense there, but
Lamar, if you're listening to the show, I will represent you.
Yes.
For 1%.
Even though I don't think you're a particular, I think you've been an improved quarterback, He improved more than I thought a running quarterback generally does. So hats off to him. But yeah,
Well, even a guy like Lamar, is there any quarterback in the college landscape right now that's a better quarterback than there will be a better quarterback than Lamar has ever been? That's what I'm saying. The quarterback draft capital this year is really weak.
Well,
the running back capital is really good.
Well, but I'm gonna just kind of tag to what you're saying there. When you say running quarterback, I think we need to change a little bit, and let's really think about this one. So running quarterbacks, we talk about Lamar, how great he is, 20 touchdowns passing, 20 touchdowns rushing, but Josh Allen, and then you have Daniel Jones, and then you have quarterbacks right now, even Patrick Mahomes. These guys can throw, but they can also run. Mm-hmm. I mean, but we're missing. What about Jalen Hurts? I mean, this guy can pass and run. And part of this reason, Bob, when I wrote that down, when you said Lamar Jackson's not going to be back with the Ravens, just think about this for a second. Is Lamar Jackson that special as far as uniqueness, or do we have it in other quarterbacks, but it's just disguised a lot more? And the Ravens are probably thinking, you know what? We can probably win if we can get a quarterback somewhat like a Josh Allen.
Yeah, well, they're more situational runners, and it seems to me like Lamar's more of a tuck and run first option.
Well, that's who he was when he came into the league, which was my gig against him. Well, now he has become a much better pocket passer, but the book on him is he's a runner who can throw. I think your Josh Allens of the world, your Patrick Mahomes are throwers who can also run and run effectively.
Sure. What's going to win a Super Bowl? Because
throwers that can run.
The closest person was Cam Newton, but he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Well, you can't say Stafford was a run quarterback. You can't say Brady was a run quarterback.
That's why I'm saying throwers who can run.
There you go. So what Bob's saying, you know what? Trade him and let's see, because the last quarterback that played for Baltimore this year, I know they lost, but look at his stats. What was his name? Huntley or
Huntley. And they win that game if that quarterback sneak is called as a go under the pile. What the hell are you doing going up?
But look what he did. I mean, they almost won the game. It kind of shows you shows you that, hey, look, is it really the guy or is it the system? I mean,
well, and let me ask the Bengals fan in the room. What is it with your Bengals and wanting to screw everything up in the inside the 5-yard line? You should have lost that game. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, we got lucky. But we're doing what we did last year.
Who was lucky was the defensive lineman. As the ball pops out and it drops in his hands, I think for him it was probably a good 30 or 40 minutes in his brain that he's going there. Why is the ball in my hand? What do I do? Oh, okay, I run now.
It took him forever.
His last 20 yards of running looked like me walking across the room.
Oh my God.
Kind of a tired, winded gait.
Speaking of luck, let's go. You want to make the picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, Saturday we have the first game is going to be the Jags going to the Chiefs, and it's Kansas City giving up 9 points.
Okay.
That's going up.
Mine's going to be easy. I'm going with KC.
So, again, guys, we bet against the spread. We make it tough here. The line opened at 8. It went to 8.5. Now you're saying 9.
Yep, that's what ESPN is reporting.
I opened up my wallet the minute it opened at 8. Now I'm all over KC.
Really?
I think the magical run ends for the Jags.
Really?
You're saying that they cover the 9?
They cover. I think it's 39-14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys know what Kansas City's record is against the spread this year?
You're going to tell us.
I am going to tell you because I know what the record is.
I don't.
It's 7-10.
And tell me how that matters against this game.
It's 7-10. Kansas City doesn't cover. This game is close. Here's generally my rule and most people's rules when you get to the playoffs. If you don't think an underdog can win the game, don't pick the underdog. Now, once you get to 9 points, it starts to get a little weird. I don't think Jaguars win this game, but I don't think Kansas City covers. Give me Jags and the points.
Okay. Our first contrarian view from Brother Bob.
Okay. And then the next Saturday game is going to be the night game, and it's going to be the Giants going to the Eagles. Eagles -7.5.
Danny Jones with no weapons.
Yes. You know, he actually looks pretty good.
He does look good.
You know,
With no weapons.
I know.
How can you say the guy looks good?
Well, he's doing well. He's
Because I'm
playing great.
confident in my own masculinity
Yeah.
that I can call another man looking good.
Bob.
Would you say if you had a quarterback that you said he's going to give you 15 touchdowns this year, would you call that good?
Well, if they're undefeated.
He's thrown 15 touchdowns the entire year.
I know.
He's still the high. Last 6 weeks of the regular season, he was the highest rated quarterback.
I just got one thing to say about the Giants.
Okay.
What is that?
Saquon Barkley. They live and die by Saquon Barkley.
Fairly. Okay, fine.
If he has a great game, little Danny's going to have a good game.
Okay.
If Saquon doesn't, but
So where are you going?
what's the line again?
7.5.
7.5.
And I think that's gone up a little bit too.
You know, I'm going to take the Giants to cover that game. It's going to be an all-out war.
This is two divisional opponents that are playing for the third time, and generally the home team wins those. I think their record is 13-4 in these situations. So I don't know. Max, what do you got?
I'll take the Giants in the points.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the Giants in the points just because I think it's going to be closer. Because Jalen, on his injury, they're not 100% sure as far as the information that's coming out. Because when I was reading the actual injury, that thing's still tender to the touch.
Oh, yeah, it's tender.
To the touch. So.
And doesn't it seem like Philadelphia hasn't played like in 2 years? When was the last time they freaking played? It just seems like
2 weeks ago against the Giants, and the Giants played them close.
Yeah, so they got to shake off a lot of rust. There's questions on Hurts. So, yeah, I kind of like the Giants to cover this.
Yeah, I do too. I think Philly does win the game, but, man, I think it's going to be close.
This is where I will go by my rule. I think the Giants can win this game.
I'm waiting for that. Yeah.
I think the Giants can win this game. I'm going to go with you with the Giants. I
Talk
think
about clearing the path for the Cowboys. You got to
whatever. Let's get there, Sparky.
Okay. And then Sunday, so Bob's going with the Giants. Sunday, the Bengals go to the Bills, and that one it's going to be the Bills 5.5.
Which has gone up as well.
Yeah.
I think that line opened up like 4.5.
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Well, I got a couple concerns, if I may address them. One is our offensive line is once again depleted. We've lost like 3 guys. One guy's knee got dislocated. He's out.
Didn't hurt you last year.
Alex Kapp, well, it had an effect on the Super Bowl.
This isn't the Super Bowl.
It's our Super Bowl because I don't know if we cover. Now, I love our defense, very opportunistic. I worry about this O-line protecting Burrows. Just so the Bengals win, I'm going to go against them and say Buffalo covers.
Okay.
Because if I bet the Bengals, they'll lose.
This is going to be a really
It's an interesting game. No,
it's going to be. I think it's going to be interesting, emotional, and weird. I think this is going to be a weird game.
yeah. Especially if someone gets hurt.
I expect Hamlin to be in the stands. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there. Can they put him out there as the captain to do the coin toss?
Probably can. But that's why I'm going with the Bengals, because that secondary, I want to be correct when I say this. Yeah, they don't have enough to cover all the receivers from the Bengals. They don't.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Bills because I think the Bills can win this game. They're on an emotional high.
There's so many wild cards. I'll tell you what, the quarterback for the Bills, he's had some weird, costly turnovers. Some interceptions that kind of Prescott.
He will do weird stuff, but I think they're going to lay enough points that they'll weather that weird stuff.
It's going to be a fun game.
It is. That's going to be a good game on Sunday.
So I got the Bills.
Yes.
Bills, Bengals.
And the Bengals. I have the Bengals. Bills, Bengals. Okay. And in the game we've been waiting. Well, Bob and I. We. Cowboys and the Niners. With the Cowboys.
I got
Niners.
a flag. My first flag of the day.
The world is waiting for this game. This is
The world.
Well, they've been talking about the history of this playoff rivalry. This is the biggest rivalry in the NFC playoffs. These teams have played a lot.
No, it's a great game.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be the most watched game. The one that was before that, the last two, both involved the Cowboys, and this is the one that the perfect time, 5:30 on Sunday. Everyone's going to watch, and this one's going to go down to, I think, whoever makes the least mistakes, and it depends if number 11 can get to the quarterback for San Francisco. And if they do that, man, I don't know.
So if wishes and ifs were,
I don't know if that can happen. So I'm going to go, and I hate to even say this. I'm going to go with San Francisco because the points are. 4 is just. I think it's going to be like 31-28.
Okay.
So, Bob, you want to go?
No, I want to hear what you think.
I thought long and hard about this.
Sorry.
Sorry.
He said hard.
Sorry. Beavis, you dumbass. No, I did. I thought long and hard about this one. Man, I'll tell you what. When both these teams are playing like they're capable of, they're a mirror image of each other. They really are.
No, they're not.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you think Kyle Shanahan is a mirror image of fatty who can't dance?
When both teams are, I haven't seen the coaches playing on the football field. Yeah. When both teams are playing, not coaching, Dallas would get out-coached every single time. Although they finally dialed up the game plan we talked about all season. Pollard, Zeke, Pollard, Zeke, Pollard, Zeke, CD.
Continue your thoughts, which are wrong, but continue them.
Well, think about it. They've got the running backs. San Francisco has running backs. They got go-to receivers. We have a go-to receiver, or Dallas does. The defenses. Dallas has an outstanding defense. San Francisco has an outstanding defense. On paper, these teams are pretty evenly matched. Okay, so I had to go back to last year and I watched the game. The reason I'm taking San Francisco is, all things being considered, Dallas has the same personnel they are rolling with from last year. Can we all agree to that?
Yeah, they're missing a receiver.
The one problem with Dallas, it's a carousel on their offensive line. You have guys that are playing on the side that they're not used to.
Right, but for key positions.
You also have a guy that's almost our age.
But for key positions, they're essentially the same.
Okay.
I said it a couple weeks ago when they got McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. San Francisco had a big puzzle, and it's those puzzles, that's 1,000-piece puzzle, and you put it together, and you buy it, and you're excited, and you're missing the one piece, and the whole puzzle looks terrible. When they got McCaffrey, that was the missing puzzle piece. Now, if the quarterback for San Francisco, the kid, Mr. Irrelevant, if he's smelling Micah Parsons' breath all game, all bets are off. Having said this, I do think it's a low-scoring game. I'd probably take the under before I take anything.
46.5.
I am worried about this place kicker thing, how bad it's in his head. If this guy's got to line up for a 45-yard field goal with the game on the line.
Yeah, it won't be that way, but please continue.
So I'm looking at a score 24-21 San Francisco.
24-21.
So you would take the Cowboys and the points then?
It's 4.5.
It's 4.
I'm going to take the Cowboys and the points.
Oh, okay. You're going to take the Cowboys.
And Max, I thought I heard you say 31-28.
I did.
So do you want the Cowboys and the points?
Cowboys. We're going against the spread.
Oh,
so essentially, you know the Cowboys. San Francisco wins the game. We agree, but Cowboys cover.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that. Yeah.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
My thoughts.
This will be good.
The Cowboys have to do something to Brock Purdy that Brock Purdy hasn't been forced to do. He's going to need to throw down and out. If you can force Brock Purdy into doing that, which we haven't seen, maybe it exposes Brock Purdy. I'm worried about film on Brock. Yeah, that's my worry, is what film and what is the defensive coordinator Dan Quinn seeing that can eliminate him. Now, here's where I have good news. 1, McCaffrey. 2, Kittle. 3, Ayuk. 4, Mitchell. 5, another guy in wide receiver. all those weapons and Kyle Shanahan like a little kid with a toy box. They're going to have to protect Brock, but I think they're just going to make sure that Brock gets the ball out of his hands quickly. The one thing that impresses me about Brock is that boy just seems to like elude people.
Does.
And I mean,
he looks like Fran Tarkington.
It looks like Fran Tarkington.
But,
yeah,
but,
who needs to find a razor, because that boy, I don't think he needs to shave.
well, the thing that about Purdy, we watched the game. Me and Bob watched that together. He was getting flushed out of the pocket, and I'm sure Shanahan's telling him, "Hey, kid, you got to let that football go. Just throw it out of bounds, because if he starts running around and gets tackled for losses or makes an inopportune throw for an interception, he did get flushed out a lot in that.
He got
Seattle
flushed out, and I was a little worried. He had a little bit of some stress, anxiety, whatever. He was playing weird for the first quarter, and then he settled down. The one thing that I love about my boy Brock Purdy is he understands who he is. He doesn't think he's God's greatest gift to quarterbacks. He just plays what's in front of him and what's asked of him.
One of the things about Brock is watching him in the Big 12 when he was at Ohio State, or Iowa State, excuse me, I don't know how to say Ohio. Iowa State, he was a good quarterback. He managed the game. He was able to elude, certain tacklers and watching him. But when it came down to those big games against Oklahoma, again, Texas and Oklahoma State, Baylor's, especially I think it was a sophomore, junior year when he played against Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
The Baylor's coach is defensive oriented, defensive minded. When you go back and look at that, getting to him a couple times rattled him. It did.
Okay.
One of these things where I think Parson, they line him up on him one-on-one, and I think also Wilson is going to get to him. But again, with McCaffrey and all those weapons, it comes down to whoever makes mistakes is going to lose the game.
Yeah, and the one nice thing about, apparently Drew doesn't want to hear my opinions anymore. So
I think he just pulled a page from Elvis.
the 49ers it seems to be free of injury right now.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn healthy, and that offensive line has been pretty decent. So I think they're going to protect Brock. Yeah, you're going to have Micah Parsons out there to deal with. My worry about what the Cowboys can dial up offensively is what I've been saying the Cowboys shouldn't do offensively all season long. The 49ers are vulnerable deep in their defensive secondary. That is where they are weakest on defense.
Yeah.
Now, we've said all year long, run it through Elliott, run it through Pollard, and set everything else up.
Who's the receiver from the Colts, the Cowboys signed?
T.Y. Hilton.
I think they're going to try to get him one or two plays downfield.
Him and CD going down, going deep. That's where they're vulnerable. Now the 49ers play a lot of zone.
Yeah.
So a lot of those run plays that Dak, Mr. Feet Prescott had against the Buccaneers, he's not going to have that ability. There's not going to be yards and yards of open green in front of him. And Cowboys don't play well on grass, despite the fact of what they did against the Buccaneers.
Well, last week they did.
They don't typically play well on grass. It typically slows them down. So I don't think this is a one-possession game. I think this is over by the middle of the third quarter.
I'm pretty sure. If you notice that Tampa game, I believe it's Tampa game, or one of the games this week, I'll bet San Francisco just waters that field down. They test their cleats, and so that field's going to be a little damp.
Well,
it's also going to slow down Bosa if you do that.
It was very slow. It was very slow last week. Now, the rain has let up in the San Francisco area. They've taken the tarp off the field. They're preparing it really, really well. It's going to be a sunny, nice day. The field is going to be perfect. Now, but it is going to be grass.
It's going to be
which is legal in California.
I was going to say the Cowboys like grass.
Well, which is illegal in Texas.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited. It'll be a good game. It's going to be a good weekend for this, and I know it'll be exciting. And it's either going to be fun here in Texas or not fun here in Texas.
So looking forward, I've heard some people call the Cowboys 49ers game the team that wins that game goes to the Super Bowl. Because apparently they're forgetting or disrespecting the Eagles.
Well, especially if Philly gets knocked out.
Which I think is possible.
Yeah.
But I think both of those defenses can do something against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' offense.
Yeah.
I just think San Francisco, like I said earlier, they to me they're the Super Bowl team this year.
And on the AFC side, I kind of think that Bengals-Bills game is your AFC representative.
I think if Buffalo wins against the Bengals, which they probably should being at home, that Josh Allen's got a little revenge, a little payback against the heartbreaking loss they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be at a neutral site.
Mm-hmm. Atlanta. So I think everything's trending Bills' way. Bills 49ers would be an outstanding Super Bowl. Yep, that'll chalk up their 5th Super Bowl loss.
Wow, he's already calling it.
Yes.
Should I go put some money on that now?
You could try.
Okay.
Actually,
What are the futures bets?
if the 49ers have the shortest odds for the Super Bowl in the NFC
With a rookie quarterback.
So we'll see.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch, so I'm excited.
Anything else, kids?
Apparently, Dana White's Power Slap League finally debuted. I haven't watched the first episode.
Yep. I haven't
And I'm
either
probably
yet.
not going to watch the first episode.
Yeah, that's the new sport now. My new white trash sport, slap fighting. It's awesome.
Night Court is back.
Night Court is back. I saw that. Yes.
I never watched it originally.
It was a good show.
You know what I did watch the other night? Just nostalgia purposes. Remember The Night Stalker with Darren McGavin?
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that on YouTube.
So, yeah, and then, I mean, we have the NBA kind of going, doing NBA things, and
Did you see that Ja Morant dunk?
yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, it kind of shows you who was the better pick, him or what's that kid from Duke that came out that the Pelicans took overall?
Oh, Zion.
Yeah, I know. It's like
The big dude?
They've all forgotten
The big
about him.
dude? Yeah. I haven't. It's at some point we're going to have to talk about the explosion of points in the NBA. It's been a little ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. So
Well, there's no defense. I can tell you.
No, there's something else going on, and we'll talk about it in a few weeks.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well,
Well, are we
until
out?
then, I'm
Don't know. Ow.
going to pick up the flag till next
Ow.
week. Picking up the flag. We'll see you next week. Check us out, Spotify, Apple, all that fun stuff. Until next week.
go Cowboys.
Go Niners.
Cowboys.
Okay.
Hi-oh.